Today I wanted to do a little comparison. I don't really know what to consider this because it's not an unboxing, even though the box is right there. But I ran into an opportunity because behind us is a compactor that has a blown engine that we would be making a video right after this one. But I need to buy a new engine. That one already has a Predator on it. This was originally $140, and there was a coupon that I had that was actually going to expire, I think, either the day or the day after I got this. I don't remember if I got it on Saturday or Sunday or whatever. Point being, $100. I've never actually got one of those coupons or really looked for them, to be honest, but I found one, got it. It was great. So what is this? That's a Predator 212. That's a Tillotson 212. Theoretically, they're the same thing, but I wanted to go over kind of like the differences. Now, I have had this Tillotson for quite some time. I'm just waiting for time to build a go-kart frame, and then that will be the power plant for it. This one, like I said, is not going to be on anything except for that compactor. So want to see the difference, because technically the kit that you would buy to modify this engine is very similar to this one, mainly because they are very similar to each other. So let's go over the main difference. I could tell you already, that one is significantly heavier, and no, it does not have oil in it, and neither does this one. So I can tell the quality of the metal, or it could just be more of it, is definitely different. What else do we have? We have this funky air filter I'm not really a fan of. I need two hands for this one. I'll explain why I'm not a fan of it. Mainly because of that air filter. Huh, new ones actually. These are actually a little bit different. The one I had before was not like this. That's good. Before you would have to get a very specific air filter, but this one you might be able to put a normal Honda one on. That's good. The Tillotson, I can tell you, will take a normal Honda filter, because that's what's on there right now. So that's at least a bonus in my book so far for the Predator. And it's not perfect, but it's a bonus. Random things I've noticed. This is on the other side, but you can move it, but then your emblem's going to be off. This one's on this side. I don't really know which one I would prefer, to be honest, but I guess it just depends on your application. This is what I was talking about, the normal filter. Like I said, I've had this for a while, and actually took this off. Took it off to kind of look at the carb and see what was the difference. I can tell you the carb is more or less the same. That one, however, is adjustable. That's really the only difference. Gas cap. If I could get it off. I don't know why that was so difficult. Gas cap is a fairly large seal, and that style of connection. And over here we have one that just comes right on and off and screws directly onto the tank. Both have filters. That one has like a spring kind of loading in, so you don't really crank on it all that much. And the handle on this is a lot harder. And it doesn't go on nearly as easily. They're both vented tanks, as you can tell by this. This one goes directly into the air filter housing. This one is definitely a lot beefier. Will go directly into the air filter housing, except behind it on the outside. Nothing really that spectacular. This I wasn't too happy about, but it has, and I got it. If I can take it out. These LG knockoff plugs, and this one, it came with a Bosch. At least that's what it says it is. Muffler. So, you know, there's obviously a look difference. I mean, one is more curved and one is definitely more angular, and one has rounded edges, the other one doesn't. So there's a look difference, but apparently that's supposed to be a higher flow because this one will and is designed to run at a higher RPM than this one. This is set at 3600 for full throttle. This I believe is 54, 58, somewhere along those lines. It's roughly 2,000 more. This brings us to the flywheel. This is not rated for anything above the stock RPM. This one is rated to a 10,000 RPM limit. So you're going to be, if you didn't want to spend additional $100 whatever dollars it is for a billet flywheel, you could go ahead and use that one. This one's heavier though. So if you're wanting to cut down on weight, you might still have to do the billet flywheel. Let's see here. Other than that, let's try the throttle. Okay, I have to put you down. Is it locked? Oh, okay. It's fairly stiff. They're about the same. They seem to be pretty stout, so those probably about the same. Overhead valve. This cover is cast. Interesting. That one is a stamped metal. They're both overhead valves, of course. They're both 3/4 shaft. This one came with this sheeting to make sure you don't lose the flywheel key, or excuse me, just the key. This one just came with a zip tie. Nothing too spectacular about that. Let's see, what else are we looking for? The back plates look to be about the same, except you can tell the finish, it's probably the casting of it, is a lot more coarse, and this is a lot finer, so that's interesting. Also, right here, you can tell there's a support. This one there is not. The rest of it does appear to be roughly the same. I mean, the fins are a little bit different on both of them, but that's about it. The tank has a different finish. That's really mainly the only difference. This has 2 oil fills, so does that one. They both seem pretty normal, no concerns. Pull cord on this comes with a standard, let's put you right there, white braided, probably nylon. Handle itself is open, doesn't feel too bad. Shiny plastic. This one, like I said, is on the other side, but it comes with black, also braided nylon. That one's also open, so those are basically the same. They both also have a low oil cutoff, and they appear to be, or is it? Oh, maybe it actually is. There is no low oil cutoff. Okay, so that's interesting. I mean, it is a race engine, so it makes sense why this one doesn't. I thought that's what this was. No, just extra connections for the ground. I guess this would be the one that would be there if there was a low oil cutoff. That's how the others work. This one, however, does have a low oil cutoff. You can tell by this extra yellow wire. And it goes into the block. So no oil cutoff on the Tillotson. But when you modify these, you will take that out anyway, so it's not like you really need to worry about it. Switches, they're about the same. There's no real difference there. Shaft length is approximately the same size. If you look at the engine's side profiles, they are roughly the same size as well. It would make sense, they are the same displacement and they're more or less the same design, except just different components inside of them. So all in all, what's my deduction? My deduction is this. If you're going to buy this not on sale, $140, okay, what are you going to have to do to it? Depends on what you want to do with it. If you just need something cheap, probably nothing. Put oil on it, install it, put it good. That's what I'm going to be doing. If you're going to be wanting to modify this, though, you're going to have to put a little extra money in there. At the time of recording this, at Tillotson, it's $219. And I said free shipping, so $219. I think it comes from Texas, so wherever you are in the world, however long it takes to get you. I think it took it about 4 days to get to me, so it wasn't too bad. I think it came FedEx, could be UPS, I don't remember. But so right now, I'm not going to go off sales because the sales, everything is different. You're going to be spending $80 more for the Tillotson. Now, what do you get for $80? You get something that I do believe is a little higher quality. The block itself is supported. It has a common type air filter. It's just a better finish in my opinion. I mean, the tank. This is kind of cheesy. That housing, I can tell you, is a lot thicker, and just random components like this vent, it does appear to be a little more stout on the Tillotson, so you do get a better quality machine. And if you are going to be modifying it, you can save yourself $100 right off the bat by not having to need to get a extra flywheel. This one you will. You don't necessarily have to. I mean, you can, look death in the eye, but the chances of it exploding if you really rev it up, they go up pretty high. So I would not recommend doing that. Granted, it is behind a cover, except like I said, that cover is kind of cheesy. So do you really want chunks flying everywhere? Cast iron? No. So higher revs, you're going to have to put in $100 roughly. Everyone's going to be different. Let's just say an extra $100. So now, even if you did get this on sale, you have $200. So for $200, you are basically at the same level that we are at right now. The kits, I think, might be a tad cheaper for the Predator. Not much. So more or less, you are going to be paying $20 for a higher quality general build. To me, that's pretty much worth it. I mean, longevity, if you think you're going to be using this routinely, then that would be a better option. Now, granted, that will not work very easily on additional machines that would require 3600 RPM max, because that is set higher. So if you're going to be putting this on like a compactor, no, that would not work out. You would have to adjust the governor down. I'm sure you could do it. To be honest, no idea how. I'm assuming you change the governor out with different weights, but you're still going to be restricted with the exhaust. That one has a high flow. Granted, if you're going to be modifying, you're probably going to put a new exhaust on anyway, so that doesn't really matter. My deduction is more or less, I would still go with the Tillotson. You're getting a higher quality machine for $20 more. And while yes, people love the Predators, they're generally a good engine, I would still spring for the Tillotson. Out of the box, it just is a better option. Even if you did no modifications at all out of it, you're going to have more power coming out of that because it can rev up higher. At 3600 RPM, I don't think it's going to be that much higher, if anything, than this one. I believe they'd still be roughly about 6.5. So, do what you will, but I want to do a little comparison. I'm sure there's other things on here that I did not find, but my general appearance and general look and general overview, there's just a lot of little things. I mean, for instance, that's very sharp. This is ground down, so you can tell they took extra care with the Tillotson. And like I said, in my book, that's just worth it. Unless you don't want to go very fast, you just want something to go on a cheap little machine, you don't need to have high revs, and you don't need anything, you'd want to go with this. Assuming that longevity is not a concern for you. I mean, if it is a concern, you just get a normal Honda, but that's going to cost 3 times as much as this engine. So if you think that Honda is going to last 3 times as long, that one would still be a better deal. But coming from the point of view of modification and putting this on a go-kart or mini bike or something along those lines, Tillotson all the way. I would never, to be honest, find a good reason to put this on a machine. I'm not a fan of them it's just my personal preference. I'd rather spend the $20 and get a higher quality built machine. Even though it's going to be a little bit more of a hassle, it's going to take a little bit more time, I'm not going to have to worry about it, failing nearly as much as one of these will. Just that bracing alone is kind of nice. So you get what you pay for, and that one you get a lot more. So that's my comparison. If you think it's something different, definitely leave a comment below. I'm always welcome for opinions. If you have 12 of these and you never had a single problem, I'm sure you probably can. And I'm sure there's probably people out there who got one of these and 2 miles down the road that just threw a rod. That's also very possible. But over the grand scheme of things, I can just see this one not being as reliable, and for the little amount of savings that you're going to have, just not worth it for me in that scope. Okay, catch you later. Definitely subscribe, put a thumbs up, this help you. If you're thinking about buying one of these and you kind of were on the fence which one you want to buy, leave a comment. I would love to hear what you chose. Catch you in the next video. Later.